What is a psychological trigger? Robert Cialdini and some of his team conducted a whole range of behavioural experiments, but one of them that was most interesting that really describes what a psychological trigger is was done at the University of Arizona, where they basically got a scrub turkey in its natural habitat, and they started to play with the scrub turkey and see how it responded in very predictable ways. So the first thing that they did is they actually got access to a polecat. So they basically put the polecat in the environment with the scrub turkey that was nesting. So it had chicks in its nest. The polecat tried to attack the turkey's chicks, and the scrub turkey actually defended its nest and killed the polecat. Who would agree that's predictable? One of the babies actually died. So they actually got the baby that had died, the little chick that had died, they took it to a taxidermist, got it completely stuffed, came back and put it back into the pen. And guess what the mother did when they put it back in the pen? Nothing. Didn't do anything, completely ignored it. And they thought, okay, fairly predictable. It's a dead toy, basically. So then they thought, well, let's see what happens if we actually put a sound device inside the stuffed chick that emanates the same frequency of chirp as all the other chicks, and then put that stuffed animal back into the environment. And guess what the scrub turkey did? She waddled over, started rolling over, and rolled the stuffed toy into her nest and started nesting it and trying to feed it. Now, what does that tell you? What social science discovered that when certain psychological triggers are activated, it actually will, in some cases, force a very predictable behavior where all other visual and sensory information is completely ignored. Now, they went one step further. They stuffed the polecat that had been killed in the first experiment, and then they stuffed the sound device inside the polecat that had been killed in the first experiment. So now they have a stuffed cat that's making a cheeping noise, and they put it in the habitat of the scrub turkey. And guess what the scrub turkey did? Rolled it over into her nest, squashing other babies, and then sat on it and tried to nest it and feed it. This basically means that there are certain psychological triggers that once activated are so powerful, not only does it force them to ignore other sensory information, it actually forces them to behave in ways that you would consider in many cases totally irrational. Who has seen people in certain situations when their buttons are pushed act completely irrational? Imagine the scrub turkey for a moment. What was the key trigger that determined the very predictable behavior in the scrub turkey? Cheep, cheep, cheep. The moment it heard the cheep, it literally activated something in its brain to behave in a very predictable way and ignore everything else.